The principle of graphic design cannot be overemphasized. If being applied the right way, can actually help the look of any design project. Hello guys, you're welcome to another exciting day. You're welcome to my channel. You're welcome to YJ Digital World. I remain your host, Agu Joseph. So guys, on this video I'll be walking you through on how to create an anticipation flyer design for a party event using Photoshop, to be precise. So guys, the main core of this tutorial has to do with how to customize a good background, likewise adding depth to your images and the use of color on your design project. So guys, if this actually sounds interesting to you and you're new to the channel, do well to smash the subscribe button if you have not done that. Smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. So without further ado, let's dive into the design phase. First thing we'll have to do here is to create a Canva workspace on which we'll be designing on. And in creating this design, I'll be setting the units in pixels, and we'll be creating a design for Instagram portrait frame size, which is 1080 by 1350. We'll set the resolution to 300. Color mode remains on the RGB, and we'll click on the create button. So over here we have the Canva workspace on which we'll be designing on. The first thing I would like to do here is to drag in the resource files I'll be using for this tutorial. So over here are the resources I'll be using for this tutorial purpose. Do well to check the video description. You'll find the link to the resource files in the video description. So looking at the theme of the event is called Karaoke Night, and I intend to use this background over here to actually give a feel of light scene over here. And furthermore, I'll be making a duplicate of this light source over here to enhance the look of this background. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do is to hit Ctrl T to actually transform it out and place it into my Canva like this. Moving on, I'd like to pick my lasso tool over here. Okay, the keyboard shortcut is L, and I would like to make a selection of this light over here. Okay, so like to make the selection like this. So after I'm done making the selection, I'll hit Ctrl J on the keyboard to actually make a duplicate of the layer. Okay, right click on the layer and convert it to a smart object. By doing so, it enables you to maintain the image quality whenever you scale it out. Ctrl T to transform. Right click and flip this horizontally and place this around somewhere here like this. Okay, so if you are done, you can place it here, somewhere here like this, and you click on the OK. Okay, so after you're done with that, you can choose to add the vector marks over here. Okay, and pick your brush to make sure your foreground is set on black. The black enables you to hide out those regions you will be brushing on this white marks layer. So I'll right click and make sure I'm working with the soft round brush, thereby setting the hardness on 0. Okay, 0% is the hardness of the soft round brush, and I'll control the opacity and flow, setting them to around 100 respectively. So I'll come over here and brush out like this. But I notice that this is so obvious, so I'll hit Ctrl Z. I'll like to dial down the radius of the flows to about let me see, 13 is okay. So I'll scale up the size of my brush using the open and close bracket key beside the P button and take out some of these edges like this. So I'll brush them out. Likewise, these edges, I'll brush them out so that they can blend in with the background. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I think we are almost done with this. So I'll soften these edges as well. Okay, so after I'm done with this, I would like to make a duplicate of this layer by hitting Ctrl J on the keyboard to make a duplicate. And after making the duplicate, I would like to take the newly duplicated layer above like this. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I'll also make a duplicate of this layer once more again. Hit Ctrl T to transform it. Okay, right click and flip it horizontally and take this way like this. I need it to be around somewhere here like this. So I hit the check button, select this other layer, hit Ctrl T, rotate the angle and place them side by side like this. Okay, you can rotate it and place them side by side like this. If you are done, you click on the check button. So Ctrl plus to zoom in a little bit and make sure you know the layer you're actually working on. So I'll select this layer over here. Okay, I'll pick the brush tool, which is B on the keyboard, and I'd like to take out this. Okay, I need to make them look as if they are actually belong to one another. So I'll brush out those edges like that. Okay, so I'll brush out these edges like this. Likewise, coming back to here as well, I would like to actually take this layer beneath this other set of layers. So I'll select both layers and drag them beneath this other layer here to be precise. Okay, moving forward, I noticed something over here. Okay, on this particular layer. So I'll select the max layer, come over here, scale up the flows. Let me set this to about 100, scale down the brush size. Okay, that is in terms of that. So I'll come back over here on this, select the mask layer and brush out those sharp edges. I need this to look as real as possible, so I'll brush them and link them together. So after I'm done, I'll select both layers, right click and convert them to a smart object. Hit Ctrl J on the keyboard to make a duplicate, Ctrl T, right click and rotate horizontal and place one around somewhere here like this. Okay, so I would like to leave this like this, but moving on, I'd like to add a vector mask and pick the brush tool and scale up the size of your brush, then brush this out. Okay, so I'll come over here, control the flows to this radius, I think is okay like this, and brush out some of this so that they can be out of focus. So after I'm done with that, the next thing I would like to do is to actually fit this to screen. So moving on, I would like to actually create a new layer, a new customized layer rather. So I hit Ctrl Shift N on the keyboard, call this noise, and I would like to change the blending mode to soft light and click on this checkbox of the 50% gray option. Click on the OK, right click and convert this layer to a smart object. Come to your filter and apply the noise and add noise. So you set this as follows. Okay, and we are good to go. So 19.66 is okay, and click on OK. That is in terms of that. So after you're done adding noise to this, I would like to apply a fill of hues and saturation. So I'd like to come to the adjustment and apply hues and saturation over here, and I would like to boost up the saturation to this level like this. Okay, making the colors pop. So I'll select this layer here, holding shift, select this, hit Ctrl G to group this. I'll call this BG, which actually stands for the background. So moving on, I'll enable this image over here. Okay, and right click to convert your subject image to a smart object as well. So I hit Ctrl T and position it around somewhere here like this. Scale this out like this. Okay, so I think we are actually good like this. So I'll click on the check button for that. So moving on, the next thing I like to do is to add depth to this image. So in order for me to add depth, I'll come over here to filter and enable the camera raw. So over here on the camera raw, I would like to give you a preview of how the image is actually looking like. That is the before and the after. So I'll enable the before and the after. So I'll start by working on the basics. So on the basics here, I'll be enhancing the exposure a little bit like this. This is more of an eyeballing situation. Please take note, there are no rules governing this, so you let your eyes to actually guide you. So likewise this as well, I need to take this down, the highlights. Okay, the shadows as well need to be enhanced. The white needs to be worked upon as well. Okay, so come to the black as well and take this up this way. So it all depends on the image you're actually working on. This is not a preset. Okay, I'm creating this depending on the image I'm actually working on. So I'll set this like this, work on the clarity as well, and come over here on the saturation. I like to take down the saturation of this to this. Okay, so the main essence of me desaturating the image is for me to apply my color balance and at the final phase of the whole design process, thereby blending the color properly with the background. Okay, so I will set this as well. That is in terms of this. So moving on, I would like to play with this noise reduction and set it to this radius as well. So it is more of an eyeballing situation. So if you are done, you click on the OK. So this is the before and this is the after. So I'll click on the OK. We'll have the image actually looking like this. So moving on, I would like to add more depth by coming to the adjustment and apply the levels. Over here, I'll be applying more of shadow to the image. Please take note that when working with the levels, it's also made up of 3 regions: the shadow, the midtones, and the highlights. So I needed to add more depth to the shadows. So I'll click on this clip mark so that the effect will be only on the character image or the subject image over here. So moving on, I'll come to the highlight and apply a curve adjustment. So on the curve adjustment is also made up of the 3 regions as well: highlight, midtones, and the shadows. So I'll click on the clip marks over here and create the highlight fill like this, something of this nature. So I hit Ctrl I to actually invert it. So after I'm done inverting it, I'll pick my brush. Okay, control the flows of the brush as well. I like to set it around somewhere about 18. Set your foreground to white. The white enables you to unravel what is hidden on the black marks over here. So scale down the size of your brush and apply the highlight on those regions that you intend to apply. Let me scale this up to 100 and see how it's actually looking like. So I would like to apply them on those edges. So the main essence of me applying this is as a result of the background, the light coming from the background. So I like to apply the light reflections on the image as well. Okay, so I can choose to soften it by coming to the property panel here and play with the feathers a little bit like this. Okay, that is in terms of that. So moving on, I would like to also add another new adjustment layer. I would like to work on the highlight as well. So I'd like to take this down like this. Okay, and click on the clip marks over here. Hit Ctrl I, make sure the mask layer is selected. Hit Ctrl I and pick your brush tool. Okay, set your foreground on white. Scale up the flows and the opacity. Scale up the flows and the opacity to 100% and scale up the size of your brush. When brushing, please take note, I'll be working mostly on the highlighted region. I need to balance the light here. Now looking at this design, you notice the light source is from the background, so I'll have to make sure that the light source is coming from the back. Thereby, every form of highlight on this image here, I would like to take them out. So I would like to take them out on the face of this image. Okay, anywhere I'm seeing highlights at the front here, I would like to dial them down. Okay, so we should make our design to look like how things are supposed to look like in the real life situations. Okay, so the light is coming from the back and there should be no any other light source at the front, so therefore we'll have to take out those highlighted regions, dial them down. Okay, that is in terms of that. So I can come over here and adjust the way I apply this. Okay, so this is without and this is with the adjustment layer. So moving on, I can still come over here and apply a hues and saturation adjustments. Okay, but before doing that, I would like to enable this adjustment layer here and create a solid fill. So for the solid fill, I would like to use the fill from the background. So I'll take this layer beneath here, hold Alt between this layer to create a clipping mask like this. Double click and sample the light source from this region like this, from the reds, like this is okay. Okay, select the mask layer, hit Ctrl I to be precise. Okay, set this on white. The foreground should be set on white. This mask layer should be selected. Scale down the size of your brush using the open and close bracket key beside the P button and add more depth of this on this. But I notice this is so heavy, so I'll scale down the flows to around 10 to 11% and apply that on the hand. So I'll apply this gently on this end as well. So this is like a reflection of the light from the background, so you apply them gently. So you just take your time and actually apply them. You can scale down the flows furthermore and apply them to other regions to create a smooth transitions. So that is in terms of that. Select the layer, you can come to your property panel and soften it as well. Okay, or moving on, you can enable your property panel from the windows over here and click on the properties and you're good to actually go. Okay, so moving on here, I would like to change the fill color. I don't want to maintain this fill of red, so I'll come back to this group and I would like to change the saturation of this image to something around this is okay. I think is okay like this. I would like to change the color of the hair as well. Okay, let me hold Alt in between these two layers, hold Alt left click to create a clipping mask. So for this hues and saturation I created earlier, I would like to change it to, I think, the same value of the same color is okay. Select the mask layer, hit Ctrl I to invert. Set your foreground on white. Increase your opacity and your flows to 100. Scale down the size of your brush using the open and close bracket key beside the P button. Ctrl plus to zoom in and apply the brush fill on the hair. Yeah, like this. So I'll come over here as well, apply this on the hair over here, apply this on the hair over here as well. So you take your time and apply them on those hair regions and we are good to go. So come over here, apply this. Okay, so moving on, we are actually good to go. You can see that I'm trying to make everything look good. Looking at this hand here, you notice this is still the reflection of the red light for the background, so I would like to actually change the hues to a flare of blue. Okay, thereby maintaining structure over here. That is in terms of that. So I'll move this above like this. So I'll select this layer, hold shift, select this layer, and group them together. Call this model rather, or subject, which actually stands for that. And moving on, I'd like to start placing in other set of information, but before doing that, I like to select, hit Ctrl T, scale this out like this, add a vector mask, select your gradient tool to be precise. Make sure we are setting this on linear and this is set on the black and white to be precise. So make sure it is set on the black and white default. So you make sure you select the mask layer and Ctrl minus. Okay, so I hit X to invert this, set this to be at the front, the black should be at the front. So I think this is okay like this. So moving on, I would like to add another adjustment layer here called the color balance. I try to balance the colors over here. So the human face should be having more of red tones, so I'll boost up the reds over here. Okay, I would like to boost up the reds, creating contrasts. Okay, on the mid-tones, red and yellow. For these highlights, boost up the reds. Okay, for this as well, for the shadows, boost it up again. Okay, so moving on, I also like to select this layer here, this group layer here, add a new layer, pick the brush tool, hold Alt and sample a region from here like this. Pick your brush, make sure your opacity is set on 100 respectively, left click like this. Okay, so you scale this and place it around here and change this the blending mode to screen to be precise. Okay, thereby creating that atmosphere effect from the background, separating the background from what is actually on the foreground. So moving on, I'll come over here as well and pick my text tool and place in the name of the organizing body. Ctrl A, pick your move tool, align this horizontally to the middle. Ctrl D to deselect. Ctrl T to transform and take this down like this. Okay, that is in terms of that. So I'll pick the text tool once more, type in the word karaoke. So I'll transform it out. For this text at the top here, I made use of a font called Urbanist. While for this, I would like to change it to a font called Beautiful People. So this is the font I'll be using for this. It's called Beautiful People. I'll make a duplicate by holding Alt, left click and drag down. So I'll call this Night. Ctrl T, scale this down and place it around somewhere here like this. So moving on, I would like to also place in the other line of text, which is called Coming Soon. So I'll change the font to Urbanist as well. Okay, and Ctrl A, pick the move to align it horizontally. Ctrl D, Ctrl T to transform, scale this down, and come to your character panel. If you don't have yours, you can enable it from the windows as well. Adjust the tracking, that's the space between text on the horizontal axis like this. Check. So scale down the size by hitting Ctrl T once more like this. So I'll select these two layers here and adjust the size of the text like this. Okay, so moving on, the next thing I would like to do here is to come to the layer at the top here and apply my color lookups. Okay, and play with any color lookups that can actually help the look of your design project. You can actually use any of them that actually help the look of your project, and you are actually good to go. Okay, I think we are good to go, guys. So guys, we have come to the end of this video. If you do find this video helpful, do well to give it a like, do well to smash the like button, guys, so that YouTube can suggest this content to other creatives on the YouTube search engine as well. If you're new to the channel and you're here to subscribe, do well to smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. If you have any questions or comments, do well to leave your questions and comments in the comment sections. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next.